Power couples don't let today's disagreement get in the way of tomorrow's communication.
It's Freestyle Friday.
Coming in hot with quick shots of inspiration on a variety of topics. Freestyle Friday.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, first of all, before we dive into today's episode, which is going to be epic, if you have not followed along on the Magic series, or maybe you have, maybe you're in the middle of it, know that you can start from the beginning and enjoy all 28 days on our Patreon. We have videos of us reading you chapter 1 through 28. It's a 28-day gratitude cycle, and you can tune into that on our Patreon. So if you are enjoying that, if you want to enjoy that, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you started it and you didn't finish, wherever you're at, that's totally fine. Pop over there and join us on that journey.
Perfect.
Okay, so today's topic is about power coupleness.
Mm-hmm.
And this was inspired by a fight that we had on our Tuesday morning date last week. So we really don't fight that much, right?
No.
I mean, we have little disagreements, and
Yeah.
I will totally own and admit that when we do fight, it's typically because of me.
Oh my gosh, we have an on-air. Whoa, this is huge right now, guys. I think she was waiting to be on air, like versus just look me in the eye and say it to my face.
No, and it's true because Wade, people have asked me, is Wade really like that all the time? And yes, Wade is. Someone called him toxically positive the other day.
Which I'm denying. I'm rejecting that.
Why?
It's the word toxic has a negative connotation, and I don't believe that. I think I'm just spreading positivity.
To that person, they perceive you as toxically positive.
Yeah, which that's all good. That's their perception. They're totally entitled.
But
to
anyway,
that.
Wade is chronically happy. He is so happy. He's so positive. He's so joyful. And yeah.
I got an amazing wife and a beautiful daughter.
Yes.
A beautiful roof over my head.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Like, how could I not be so
still,
happy?
Sometimes you stub your toe and you drop the F-bomb. Well, I do, but you don't.
No, I have weird days where I wake up in a bad mood. I'm like, what the heck is going on? It's like so against my DNA. I'm like, this is so weird. And then I'm like moody. I have those days.
Okay. Anyway, back to what I'm saying is when we get in disagreements, it's typically because of me, because I'm having a mood swing, or I'm upset about something, or I don't want to address something. So I'm just harboring it. He has no idea. He's skipping and whistling and has no idea that I'm going through this whole scenario in my head. So I acknowledge that it's usually because of me.
But it's you express it, but it could be from my actions. I always look at every fight. There's two parties, right?
Totally.
Some might be more weighted towards one side, but you're the one out of the two of us that acknowledges and expresses it. So that is a good thing too.
Yes,
hey,
it would
I'm
not be
feeling
good if neither of us acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And it would be a storm if we both acknowledge it at all times.
Yeah.
It'd be not good.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's topic is about being a power couple, right? What does it mean to be a power couple? And we saw this quote the other day and we were both we both paused in our tracks because we were that's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
It was something I'm paraphrasing. Power couples don't let today's disagreement get in the way of tomorrow's communication. We were like,
wait, let's say that one more time, because that is really, really powerful. So the definition of a power couple, which Wade and I get told all the time, you guys are a power couple. Oh my gosh, goals. I have you on my vision board, where we receive all these things. They're so amazing. They're so nice. And I'm always
there's couples coming out hey, can you coach us? Couples coaching. We're we haven't done that, but maybe, yeah, let's figure that out.
Yes. So this power couple word it's such a compliment. It's so amazing. Right. But it's what does it actually mean? And we saw this, it literally was a meme or something on Instagram, but it caught our attention. We were wow, that's what it is. And it kind of made me think wait, we're not that yet. But then when we got in this fight last Tuesday,
it was a huge stride.
It was a huge, I looked at each
one
other
small step for man, one giant leap for mankind type thing in our world.
Okay. But yeah, it made me think wow, that's the definition of the power couple. Was we used to get in fights or disagreements, and I'd be a sourpuss for 5 days. I'm don't get near me. You can sleep on the couch.
Resentment. No, she never makes me sleep on the couch, but there's that underlying resentment.
There were times when I would sleep on the couch. I'm if you won't budge, I'm out of here because I can't be near you.
I would put my eye mask on and be all snuggled in our king size bed, oh, that's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not kidding though.
When have we slept on the couch? Once or twice?
No,
ever?
When we lived in Boston, I have slept on that couch like multiple. Keep in mind, this was that season. If you listened to Wednesday's episode, it was that season where I just
Seasonal depression
Yes.
from moving to a new place with wintertime.
I
Yeah.
felt like I made all these sacrifices, and I'm like, what
Hormones
the hell
are
you
huge.
doing?
Hormones can take over our life if we don't control them. That's a whole nother thing.
But anyway, let's talk about the fight, like
Mhm.
high level. Let's talk about it, and then let's talk about like how we handle it.
Right. So coming back to that definition, power couple means not letting today's disagreement get in the way of tomorrow's communication. We heard great advice, which we've dropped before in this episode, from someone who's older than us and has been through a marriage and onto a second relationship. He's like, you know what? My advice to a long marriage for you guys is every disagreement or fight you get in, you put up a brick between you guys. And if you leave it
That's his
unsaid and
advice?
every time you get in a fight, no, he's not
Okay.
done it. You put up a brick. And if things go unsaid or you don't resolve that, you leave the brick there, and enough bricks, you build a wall between you slowly and steadily. And all of a sudden you have a wall. So it's important when like that brick may be laid, but you need to work to resolve and remove the brick so you aren't building the wall. Anyways, we get in disagreements like anyone does. And we're on our way to a Tuesday morning date, which is, our favorite time and day of the week. I shouldn't say favorite, but it's a great part of our week.
It's a highlight. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's a highlight. And
And keep in mind, this was our first time doing our morning date since our daughter was born. So she's 3 months old.
we're
at the
fired
time.
up.
Yeah. And we're like, this is our first morning date in literally like over 12 weeks, like really looking forward to it. And
We're excited. We're getting ready to leave, and our nanny gets here, and Cam's all taken care of, and we're all good. And then our house cleaner gets there, and I'm like, "Is Damaris here?" Shout out you, Damaris. She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like the finance brain. I'm like, our house is clean. It does not need to be cleaned, but we're paying someone to clean it. Like, why is this happening? And it totally shifted the energy, even just asking that question, because it puts Sandy's radar up. And like, what does he mean by this? Why is he like micromanaging the cleaning and the scarcity mindset of like, we don't need to pay someone to clean the house when it's clean type thing. It makes me feel good. And so anyways, it was the catalyst to opening up a broader conversation. We had like a 30-minute drive to our date. The whole ride of like, usually little things like that was just the tip of the iceberg, or the first domino to open up. Well, I feel this way. I've been feeling that way. I resent this. I resent that. So it was the first domino, right, into a greater conversation. The whole 30 minutes, we're in a fight, right?
Yes. And there was a lot of finger pointing and you and voice raising. And it was so much bigger than the freaking cleaner. Like it wasn't about that. And to me, from my perspective, was like, if it was up to me, our house cleaner, I love her. She's amazing. I'd have her at least twice a week just to help, like, keep the house tidy so that my focus and energy is spent on creative outlets, like doing this versus folding laundry. Like just being real, right? Like sometimes I can get in a meditative state folding laundry, but she's really good at what she does. That's her zone of genius. And my zone of genius is elsewhere. But I'm not going to do a cleaner twice a week at this stage of life. And so when Wade and I talked about it, when we originally hired her a year ago, we agreed that it would be nice when we're away on our dates that she's at the house cleaning, so that we're not like in each other's way type of thing. So we agreed on every other Tuesday. So we specifically like arrange that. And when we travel, sometimes if we're gone for a week or so, like I'll ask Wade, like, oh, should I have Damaris? And I'll be like, no, I think we can push it a week or whatever. So this specific Tuesday, we hadn't traveled or anything. She hadn't been there in 2 weeks.
Weren't we in Miami?
No, that was the time before. Trust me, I kept track of this.
Okay.
So our house, in my mind, like I saw some crumbs on the ground. Like I don't want to have to be like licking my finger and tapping all the crumbs to like literally get them up off the ground, because I can't stand to see like these little morsels of crumbs everywhere. So I'm like, okay, it's perfect. Like we're about to go on our date. Our amazing nanny's taking care of Rachel, and Damaris is showing up. We're going to come back to a clean house. Cameron's going to have like had a great nap. We're going to have had our date. So I'm like in a good mood. I'm like, we haven't been on a date in like 3 months, and the garage door opens and Damaris had us pull up, and Wade said, it was his tone. He goes, "Is that Damaris?" And I was like,
if you could see my
Oh.
smile right now.
hell no. The way he said it, I was like, here it comes. He's going to get all like persnickety on me about like, and I'm like, we've made this compromise. Like I want twice a week. He said he would want like every other 3 months. And we
Every other 3 months.
and we agreed on every other Tuesday. So long story longer, it was about that. And so we got in this huge thing.
But it opened up so many other things.
Yes. And I'm like, you are trying to control things. Like, why? And I'm like, Wade, listen to me. There are things that are important to you. You go to CrossFit and spend a couple $100s on that a month, and that makes you happy. So do that. You love your Coma Tier coffee. You rave about it. Have your coffee.
Shout out Coma Tier.
Yeah, you spend $2.50 per pod.
No, I got the like investor hookup.
Whatever. But I'm like, it makes you happy. Do you? Okay. Yeah. Well, guess what? Damaris makes me happy. And there is nothing that makes me more joyful than the bed perfectly made and the towels folded in that way and the toilet paper with the freaking Jumanji. What are those things called when they make the
little animal things?
Yeah. What are they called?
Not Jumanji.
Origami.
Yeah.
Orangutan. What am I saying? Origamis. Like that stuff literally brings me joy. It is worth it. Like happy wife, happy life is a thing right now. And so we pull up to the destination and I'm silent.
Because we just had 30 minutes of fight basically, and then 5 minutes of silence pulling up to our date.
And I'm literally like, old me, like Sandy 4 years ago would be like, take me home, turn the car around. Or I'd like get out of the car and be like, I'm Ubering home. Like angerness, like the Aries, the Enneagram 8, like the fiery version of me. Like that's my instinct, is to like get away, like escape, abandon the situation. And I was like, all right, I am so strong. I am a freaking amazing human being. I'm just being quiet right now. I have so much I want to say, but I'm just going to be quiet. And then Wade took one for the team and he was like, baby, can I have your hand? And he grabbed my hand.
And she like begrudgingly is like,
I like gave him, I wish you could see if you're not seeing the camera right now, I wish you could see this, but I like gave him my hand
and like looked off.
Yeah. Like kind of like I'm a queen.
Body language.
Like I'm a queen, like kiss my hand and make up to me.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear how you process this and tell it. It would be helpful for me.
Because we actually haven't talked about this since. He was like, babe, he started with gratitude. He's like, I love you so much. And I am so grateful that you care so much about the condition of our home and that you take the time to, coordinate Damaris and make sure that our home is clean. And I love that matters to you. And I know there's things that matter to me and you honor that. And I just want you to know that this fight like ends here. Like if Damaris coming every other week is important to you, like that's the thing. I will never again question when Damaris shows up. If you think that we need Damaris to come, then Damaris needs to come and I'm not going to get involved. That's a you thing. And that is something I am never again going to put a wall up against because this isn't worth it. Like, and he owned it and he was like, I'm sorry. I understand this literally happened. This was all like a ripple effect from my comment. And we wouldn't have been having this if I just like didn't say something. Like, so I was like so grateful that he owned that. I was like, wow, like this is huge right now. And I still was.
It was hard for me. Like my ego, I had to kind of be humble, really coming from a place of humility. Like it wasn't easy, but I was like, I feel in my gut what's right. And how do I feel? I'm just going to authentically like come from that place. And it wasn't just like this free flowing, like, oh, it was super simple and easy. Like I had to really think and digest and work and be like,
but you did it in a matter of like 3 minutes. Like It's been 6 days or a week for me already. And I'm still digesting and deciding like, we are going to have a conversation about this. Maybe it'll be on our next Tuesday date. Who knows? In a super constructive, healthy way. But I was so like angry at how that happened. And keep in mind, I'm still 3 months postpartum. So it could, a lot of it just be like hormones, but it was so much bigger to me. It's not about the cleaner. It's not about the couple $100 that we spent on that. It's not about any of that. It's zoom out, bigger picture of like, when I said yes to marrying you, like we said yes to this partnership. And that moment didn't feel like a partnership. It felt like you didn't trust me and like I'm doing something against you, when it's like I'm doing something for us and for our family. Like, why don't we see this in the same way? And so, long story longer, the whole point of today's episode is like, Wade apologized. I accepted his apology. I told him, I know I did some wrong things too, and I'm not quite ready to address it. Give me time. We're going to get there, but let's go on our date. And so we went on our date. and we were at Lido Island in Newport Beach, sitting on this outdoor porch with yachts all around us and like birds chirping, sunshine. It was amazing vibes. We got
healthy food.
We got healthy food. We got like a juice shooter. It was like a beet juice, an orange juice, a green juice. We got matcha lattes, and we like put all of that aside, and we were like, I love you. This is our first date. Like, let's not get caught up in this. And like, we enjoyed our date. This was super crazy. Actually, right after our date, we were talking about Kayla Kraft, like my business coach. And like, we're like, gosh, we need to go on a double date with her and Chase. Like, totally love them and need to spend more time with them. And like, we've been talking a lot about how we want to be really mindful of who we spend our time with and whatever. And so we're literally talking about her. And 30 seconds later, hello? Oh my God, Sandy and Wade. And we look over and Kayla Kraft was standing right there. And we were like, whoa, talk about law of attraction. So anyway, we had a huge realization that day that like,
when those things happen, by the way, some people call them God winks, some people call it the universe, whatever you call it. It's like, it's a sign, right? It means you're in alignment. Mm-hmm. It's like a sign with like those, take the sign, like notice the sign and see it for what it is.
Yeah. So that was really powerful. And we had a realization like that day and the next day and ever since of basically like, wow, the power couple title that gets thrown at us, which is, we're grateful for. It's really kind. Like, I finally feel like I can truly receive that, because I believe that the definition of a power couple is what we said at the beginning. Like, it's truly not letting today's disagreement interrupt tomorrow's communication, right? When you can accomplish that, that's a power couple. That's something we strive for. That's something we seek after. And it was like truly the first time.
Yeah.
I feel like we got in a fight and we were like, not gonna
that was
let
our
it.
best rebound. That was our best bounce back.
Yeah.
And it's because we come, and we've talked about this before, but from totally different places where we create a fire via a fight, call a fight the fire. And Sandy's like, I need to get away from this fire and let's put it out and we'll revisit it after it passes and I can digest it. And I'm like, no, I need to run into the fire with the hose and just start spraying and just start like trying to fix it right there. And we know that about each other. And so that was a step to acknowledge, like, I deal with it this way, you deal with it that way. But then it's compromising. How do we come together on it? And I think this was a big one, because I was like, I have to come from a place. If I'm going to talk, I want to resolve and talk about it right away. If I'm going to do that, first, I need to let there be some quiet and stillness and silence between us. And second, if I do talk, I need to come from a place of gratitude for her and where I went wrong only, and not point any finger. If I'm going to say anything at all, I have to only point at me. And then I can't expect her to point at herself or her to even speak. I need to still give her space to digest it. But while she usually doesn't even want to hear me, even if I'm pointing the finger at myself, because I usually don't, she did hear me. And she honestly, usually I can bounce. She did accept my apology, and I can like switch my energy back maybe a little faster. But hers is like, she's more of an empath. She feels things. So after a fight, she's going to feel it, and that's going to affect her energy and emotions for the time being and moving forward. She was able to then like accept it and then change the direction of our energy together into the date. And we both were. So like, it was that meeting in the middle, like kind of compromise and realizing us both, because Sandy didn't act how she always acted, and I didn't act how I always acted. We kind of like broke free and met in the middle, and we're like, and then literally not even let today's disagreement interrupt tomorrow's communication. We didn't let the ride over's disagreement affect our date. And it was like huge. We reflected on it. We're like, that was big for us. That was really big. And so we've been like really grateful for it. It was a learning lesson, and we grew from it and gained from it. And it was just awesome.
But yeah, and it's so interesting about me running from a fight versus you being able to like address it. I feel like that must come from childhood, right? Like something about like me wanting to avoid hurt or avoid pain.
Yeah.
And you're just like, let's handle this. Like, let's get to the bottom of it. I think we're so molded by our previous experiences. Yes. But this was a fun episode. I hope you guys got enjoyment out of it. I hope you learned something. Maybe send it to your partner or a spouse. Send it to a power couple that you're like, yo, I see this in you. Yeah, this goes round by sharing it. We appreciate all the tags on Instagram, the shares, sharing it with friends, new people finding our podcast. Like, the mission of this is just to touch as many lives as we can and empower you
to live just an incredible magnetic life. And we know that's through love, through passion, through purpose, through achievement, through things. And that's why we talk about entrepreneurship, business, marriage, all the different stuff, to ultimately just live a magnetic lifestyle. But it helps too to keep it growing and keep finding new people through the reviews and the ratings. So we're going to start reading a review random from the last week. So call to action. If you haven't reviewed it yet, we'd appreciate it so much. But this one was from Wit AXO. Weekly dose of inspiration, 5-star. Whenever I need to get fired up, feel empowered, and learn something new, I tune in to Getting Magnetic. Sandy and Wade are passionate and willing to share so much heart and knowledge with their listeners. They're super successful, but always keep it real and constantly have me laughing and leave me feeling ready to tackle new goals. A must-listen podcast for anyone looking to up-level their business or even just their life.
Wow.
Thank you for that review. We appreciate you. We appreciate the listener. And until next time.
That's all we got. Thanks for tuning in.
Only those that can see the invisible can do the impossible.
So remember, you are magnetic.